Greetings, AP World History students, and welcome to this overview of Chapter 6 in Robert Strayer's AP World History textbook, Ways of the World. The focus of Chapter 6 takes us away from Eurasia and brings us to Africa, the Americas, and Pacific Oceania. And this chapter is the last chapter of Part 2, which focuses on Second Wave Era civilizations, which were those civilizations that began and flourished roughly between 600 BCE and 600 CE. So Section 1 of the chapter is called Continental Comparisons, and this takes a look at the question of why did civilizations in the Americas, Africa, and the Pacific Oceania region develop differently than the quote-unquote advanced civilizations of Eurasia. The traditional historic view was that the Eurasian civilizations were bigger, more advanced, more technologically sound than those in other parts of the world. And this section of the chapter takes a look at some possible explanations as to why. And Strayer looks at things such as population size, technology such as metallurgy, animal domestication, the development of writing, and things of that nature to possibly explain that. Section 2 of the chapter shifts our attention to some civilizations that thrived in Africa at this time. And he goes into detailed discussion about the Meroe and Axum civilizations in eastern Africa, as well as the civilizations that existed in the Niger River Valley towards the west. And there's a lot of cultural diffusion that takes place, especially in the Axum and Meroe civilizations, so pay attention to that part of the chapter. And Section 3 brings us across the Atlantic Ocean, or depending on where you begin, the Pacific Ocean, and focuses on America. And just one point that I'd like to bring up is that America is not a country, it's a region. And it includes South America, North America, and Central America. But anyway, Strayer focuses on the Mayan civilization and looks at a city, the biggest city in the Western world at the time, Teotihuacan, and takes a look at how the Mayans had developed an extensive knowledge of mathematics, astronomy. They developed a calendar that we use today in large part, and they had a pretty stratified social hierarchy, all hallmarks, as you know, of civilizations. He then focuses in South America and looks at civilizations that thrived in the Andes Mountains. You may be familiar with Incan civilization. That comes a little bit later. But he looks at less well-known civilizations such as the Chavin, Mochi, Wari, and Tiwanaku societies. And lastly, in Section 5, he takes a look at alternatives to civilization. These would be people and societies that organize themselves not into civilizations, but something other than that. And this would include some of the tribal peoples in Africa, the Bantu people, and the Pueblos and Hopewells in North America, and also people in New Zealand, New Guinea, and Polynesia. So throughout this chapter, as in a lot of chapters, Strayer takes a detailed look at how these different civilizations organize themselves, how they organize their social and class structure, gender and family roles, looks at the role that religion and economics played in their lives, and also takes a look at what led to their decline and in some cases eventually their collapse, as in the Mayan civilization. So try not to get too confused about the outrageous amount of details and examples, but instead try to focus on the big picture. And the big picture is, what are those things that make a society into a civilization, and how did these different civilizations organize themselves, and how could they compare to those of Eurasia? So I hope you enjoy Chapter 6. It's a pretty complicated one, but I hope this overview helps you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.